It took me 7 years to put on the black dress. 7 years of hard work. 5 of those years were just trying to stay in the country.
Brave thing to leave your family behind for a game of netball.
I had to start from scratch. I had no name for myself. I hadn't played at any level in South Africa, so I had to start at club level. I had to study, I had to work, and I had to try and fit in my training. Sometimes I was thinking, this is so hard, like why am I doing this? And then I would think of everybody involved. And that would sort of be my driving factor to just keep going.
She grew up in South Africa, decided
Contact
she
ball and
wanted
take advantage
to come to New
offside.
Zealand.
I think I've missed a lot of birthdays. I've missed weddings. I've probably missed funerals as well. But the amazing life that I've built myself here and that I'm able to have with the support of my family is probably too good at the moment to want to give up. Yeah. Edinburgh is about like 3 hours drive from Cape Town. It's a very, very small town. Everybody knew each other. Everywhere you go, there was always familiar faces. We actually went to primary school at a probably even smaller town called Lutzville. It's about 20k out of Edinburgh. Mum was a teacher there.
This is my little daughter. That's playing for New Zealand.
I always joke and say that I got my netball talent from Mum. We grew up on the courts, really. Ever since we were born, Mum was playing, so we had this very much family community in the netball area in my hometown as well. Mum's best friends were all netball players and they all had their kids there, so evenings going to club trainings, you know, all the kids were there. It was a great time for us as kids.
As hom van hier af so te strek, okay? Dan gaan sy hom gooi. Yes.
I always played ahead, years ahead of my actual year grade. So I had an amazing teacher, Juffrouw Wanda, who was pretty much my coach all of my high school.
Talent was outstanding. In school, she was absolutely brilliant for our little town.
I think over the years, as I got towards my later years in high school, I was like, gosh, I don't want to stop playing after high school. I don't want this to finish because I loved it so much. And so that's where I had to start doing my research and how can I make more of this. And I really knew that it was hard for a uni student to be able to juggle playing netball and being able to study. I'm not even talking about if you've got to go to work, you know. I take my hat off to all the netball players in South Africa that's able to juggle both sides. And so I had to look elsewhere where I could do it more on a permanent base so I can keep going and keep doing it. My uncle and aunt, who live here in Wellington, New Zealand, had been living here for, I think, 17 years at that time. They went and visited South Africa. I never met them before, but my mum was like, right, I've got family that's come from New Zealand. They're actually at the airport on their way back to New Zealand. Let's just go say hi to them. So we all got in the car, went to the airport, and as parents do, you know, you brag about your kids, talk about how good they are. And so obviously the netball side came about, and my uncle, to me at that time it was a joke, like I don't really take it serious, but he said, why don't you send her over, come over for a year. Me and my mum, you know, were like, great, this is an amazing opportunity. We didn't tell Dad about the move until about a month before it actually happened. And yeah, I think the first year or two, Dad always said whenever I would miss home or Mum would be missing me, he'd be like, you guys made this bed, you've got to sleep in it. You guys wanted to send her over there. So tough love from Dad. But obviously now one of my biggest supporters, number one supporters, always has been. So me and Mum sort of worked in the background to make that work. And I think February 2012, I jumped on a plane and came to New Zealand. Gosh, so my first year actually in New Zealand, I just played club level netball. So I was on a visitor's visa, so I'm not allowed to work, I'm not allowed to study. So, and because of that, I don't actually have like pocket money either. So I'm pretty much sitting at home experiencing a new country. I joined an amazing netball club called Nine Collegians out in Taita in Wellington. I had an amazing coach, Joe Polder and Lynette Imrie, and they both pretty much took me under their wing and helped me a lot with my raw skills. I guess every country has their bases that they teach kids from a very young age, and I don't know if it's just because I was in the rural area where there's not much in terms of structure, that kind of stuff. I just played on instinct. I played what I saw. No strength and conditioning, none of that stuff. And simple things like, landing on the same side you turn on, pivoting, and landing balanced, and where you pass the ball from. Small things that you just don't think of when you're playing. So I had to pretty much start from scratch and get taught, no, when you turn to your right, land on your right foot, lift the ball up, look where you pass. Just more thinking involved, and I think I had to learn how to think while playing and not just play. At the time, the only way to stay on was to be a student, so I had to start looking at options of trying to be a student. That's where I went, found the New Zealand Institute of Sports, where I was like, great, I can be an athlete. The hours allow me to still do what I need to do in terms of netball. My first year, I absolutely loved it and enjoyed it. I had to work really hard because I needed a scholarship. I was not going to cost my family any more money, so I worked hard to try and get a scholarship for my second year, which paid off. So my second year, I was like, great, so now I'm sort of a bit more self-sufficient. I was like, now I need a part-time job. I need to find the ways of trying to get pocket money. So I did, coaching at our club, just for the young ones, school programs, and even worked at Macca's. Sundays would be a full shift at Macca's that would pay my train ticket in and out of the city. I had to study, I had to work, and I had to try and fit in my training all in a very short day, all the time. This was about a 5-year journey that I had to just grind it out and made it work. I never wanted to even think about giving up. The only reason I would want to go back is if I literally could not stand being away from my family anymore. But at the time, things were just going, it was hard, it was extremely hard, but things were slowly progressing. Stepping into the ANZ, my first year was, like on the bench pretty much, learning a lot from those around me. I had amazing defenders ahead of me at the time, Katrina, Phoenix, and I had a lot to learn. And so I just took that year as an opportunity to learn as much as I could. I had an amazing specialist coach, Waimarama, as well. A lot of tough love, extremely tough love. Lots of trainings where I went, I really had to try not to cry. One turning point was, there was a specific training where, again, you always hear the Karin this, Karin that, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? Where Katrina came to me afterwards and said, it's a good thing. If you're hearing a lot of chat and she's talking to you heaps, that's because she sees a lot of potential in you and she wants the best out of you. And that completely shifted my mindset going forward. At the Ferns trials, we got split into little groups and we had to be a little team, and my specific group didn't have any wing defences. And here's little old me playing goalkeeper who's now moved to goal defence, and suddenly they're like, you can play wing D. And they must have liked what I did at wing D because I didn't move out of wing D for that rest of that trials, and so I saw this as an opportunity and had that sit down with the Pulse and said, look, the Ferns see me as a wing defence, where can I fit this in, how can I make this work? And pretty much got taken under the wing. Wai showed me the ropes and how to be the best wing D I could possibly be, and that next year I got my starting lineup, and it was an amazing year. I loved it, it was really good.
Burger. Such an impressive Becco season last year. Player of the league for the Becco competition.
We unfortunately made it into the final, but just couldn't pull it off. Still heartbreaking whenever we talk about the loss against Steel.
Well, they know it's theirs. The Pulse are victorious.
Winning that gold medal, to me, it was at that time 6 years of, me backing myself, putting myself in difficult positions, some tears, some sweat, a lot of sweat, and support from a distance. And I think that was also me saying thank you to everybody around me that allowed me to be in that position as well. I think my first time actually, when I got my debut for the Ferns, I completely forgot that I would have to sing the anthem. And I don't think I really knew it at the time either, so it probably hit me the day before the actual game that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to sing the anthem and I don't know it. So I was just like, crash course of trying to learn it as well as I possibly could, and also being your debut, knowing the camera that was going to be on you at some point. So that added a lot of stress to my debut, but absolutely loved it. You've got nerves, the adrenaline is absolutely pumping, and so you just want to go out there and prove yourself. Not just to yourself, but to the coach and to the outside world, I guess, as well, because there's so many people watching. And also your family, you want to make them proud. In itself, being selected for a World Cup is people only dream of. Athletes have careers for a lifetime and might not even ever make pinnacle events ever. And so for me, little old South had only really just started playing at that level the year before. And being able to say that I was going to play amongst some legends of the game, like Laura, Maria, Casey, and also massively my teammates at the time with Mills and Katrina. It was, it's easy to say amazing and, heartwarming and so much pride, but I don't think those words really truly describe that feeling. And to know that an amazing coach like Nolene Taurua had the confidence in you and believed in you to go to a pinnacle event with no experience, I had no experience behind me, and to be able to be in that position and say that at that time that I was able to achieve something like that, to me, it was very much a highlight of my career. Obviously, Mum had seen me play at the 2019 World Cup, but none of my other family members had ever seen me play at the level that I was playing at. So this was sort of my debut to them, if you will. Obviously, always watching my games online, never miss anything, but it's different when you see it in person. And also, growing up with always having family on the sideline to suddenly not having that, to be able to say that I can experience something like that again, it was really exciting to me. And so when it finally came around, I got to spend so much time away from the court with my family, and I think most players or most athletes will be able to tell you that that is such I guess that gives you so much more adrenaline and excitement and positive vibes to be able to play even better netball. And obviously that drive to want to show them what I do and how good I can be in person was a big driving factor as well. So taking court for the first time and hearing their voices in the crowd was a very special moment. I'm most grateful for the blessings I've received from above, the talents, the amazing upbringing, loving family, and I guess to encompass it all, it's the blessings of the people around me. Without the people around me, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it as well as I have. But ultimately, without the blessing of the talent and the opportunities in the first place, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today.